Hey, everyone. Hi, and welcome to The Real, where things get real and we talk about, well, whatever we feel. I am so happy to be able to be here today doing this week's episode. I almost was not able to do that because I had a toothache from hell. And I do mean hell. Like, I don't know if, everybody has been through this, but I had like the worst toothache ever. So I kind of left it alone for a while and be like, yeah, because I super hate dentists. Not hate dentists. I have friends that are dentists, come on. But I don't like going to the dentist. I don't like the doctor, but then the dentist gives my mouth and I love food and you say the pain, I won't be able to eat. And I think that's kind of in my mind from the experience with the tongue ring, but that's a whole other story. And that's a teenage chronicle. But anyway, so I had this toothache, well, I still have, because I'm going to the dentist first thing on Monday morning, Tuesday for the latest, but I had this toothache that was like throbbing. And I swear it was like the dragon, just like heat rising up from the thing. Oh, it was the worst thing that I felt in, like, well, forever if I think about it. And I've had some pretty bad pains. I've been in like a car accident and stuff. But anyway, so I am getting some relief right now, yeah, more or less. Kind of had to like, okay, I promise then I'll stop talking about this stupid toothache, but I had to kind of like take a bunch of acetaminophen like every 2 to 3 hours. And then I kind of had to put like, what do you call that? The muscle rub, the ice cool on my mouth because my face was kind of swollen and it's like it just won't stop throbbing and it kind of gave me a little relief. So I have a short window. Yeah, I don't know how long this is going to last to get this podcast down and out. All right, so let's get started with today's topic. Today's topic is going to be intimidation, how to deal with or how to overcome intimidation. All right, so let's get started. What is intimidation? Intimidation, according to the Dictionary of Encyclopedia, is the fear of something. And not just fear, the fear to the point that it gives you a form of paranoia. That's my definition of intimidation. And you'll figure out why as we go along with this podcast. So in my humble opinion, again, like I said, a lot of these things are just from my experience as a coach, and just from life, really, and especially as a network marketer. But in my opinion, there are 5 levels of intimidation as a network marketer. 5 levels. All right, level 1 would be the opinion of others. And that in itself has different legs. So let's look at the first leg. Most of us fear looking stupid in network marketing. We're afraid of what people have to say. And looking stupid has 2 tiers, actually. That would be success, whether we fail. When we tell people, hey, I decided to start with this company, like, yeah, it's a scam. Really? Are you sure? It's pyramid schemes? If it was a pyramid scheme, the government would have shut down the company. Wonk. Especially with my company. It's been around like 10 to 12 years. There's so many successful stories. So if it was a scam, pyramid schemes are illegal. So no. And a lot of times we fear what people have to say about what we do. And this is not even just network marketing. That's if you say you want to become a vet and your mother wanted you to become a dentist or a doctor. So we naturally as human beings have this intimidation of looking stupid, and more so when it comes to success, right? So we're afraid more or less of not succeeding, of people being right, of failure. The next one would be the perception, how people view us. Because what you find is you have to get on Facebook now and do all the lives. And I know for myself, I haven't really done lives because I was so paranoid about how I look. They say the camera adds on like 10 pounds. And I think, I'm going to look super chubby. I need to lose some weight first. And, so I'm not just saying things that, I think I'm above. These are things that I am somewhat still struggling with myself, So I already know. I'm just being real about it. That's one of the things with a lot of people. We say, oh, let's lose some weight first before we get to doing lives or webinars or whatever we got going on. Maybe even physical presentations, or maybe I need to learn to do my makeup a certain way, or maybe I need to this, or maybe I need to wait till I make money to afford this and that. Come on now. Let's get it together. You know, like I said, this is the first level of intimidation. We are super afraid of what people have to say about whether we succeed or fail. And at the end of the day, it's really your business. We hear the term a lot, in self-improvement, failing forward. And I'm all for that 100%. If you fail, it's your failure. You learn from it, you learn what not to do, or you learn what opportunity did not match your personality. It didn't mean the opportunity was a failure or you were a failure. It just meant that it wasn't a great match. Amen? Can we hold on to that today? And in terms of perception, who cares? I mean, people are going to say things anyway, and I know whether you do good, whether you do bad, they're always going to have something to say. I mean, I know some people that there are people who do far worse stuff to them, and they don't even really care. If someone doesn't like you, or they already have a certain perception about you, in my opinion, the only way to change the perception is to succeed. 100. That's just how I feel. All right, so let's move on to the second level. The second level is speaking. Now, coming from an introvert, who I am a people's person because I'm an extrovert when I get super comfortable with people or if I know you. But I found that one of my struggles as a network marketer is speaking. First of all, cold calling. I came up with like a super cute formula. I would tell you, but then I have to kill you. It's my secret. But yeah, so I came up with this like super cool formula. I kind of like adjusted the company's script for when I call people and just say, hi, da, da, da. And like I said in a previous podcast, 5 seconds to just tell them why I'm calling or whatever. And then presentations, some people have stage fright. I am actually not one of these people. You put me in front of a mic and I'm a whole different person. I don't know what happens there. Wonder Woman, super shy. And also lives. Well, we spoke about that a few minutes ago. Lives and even just calling people, callbacks. A lot of us are afraid to speak, and so we try to run towards, other avenues of getting the word out. If you can't speak, you can't network. 100%, because networking is communication. I don't care if you 100% automation. If you don't know how to speak to people, how to communicate, whether it's in writing, because most times your writing tone is actually your speaking tone. And take it from me, I'm a writer. Now that's another chronicle. But I mean, it's just the facts of life. If you can't write, if you can't speak, you can not write. I'm sorry. You might be better at expressing it with the written word, but it's still your speaking voice on paper. Communication is key. So that's another level that we need to get over. All right. The third level of intimidation is other network marketers. Now, that again is 2-tier. So we have those that maybe follow us on Facebook. A lot of us are afraid of what they would think, of them copying us, these kinds of things. I mean, a lot of nitty-gritty, childish things. I mean, at the end of the day, if you're confident in yourself and in what you do, you shouldn't really be afraid of other network marketers. And I'm saying that because of a conversation I had last week, and I'm like, well, I don't know. Because, I mean, in our company, if someone posts something, someone is almost guaranteed to copy it, myself included, and just repaste. Because 9 out of 10, my audience is not your audience, and vice versa. So, I mean, I don't know. This is how I feel about that. So I think one of the greatest levels of intimidation, just adding that in, is those that are in the same niche with us and maybe a different company as well, then we get intimidated. And I had that kind of experience because I realized at one point that I was in the same, how can I put it? I was fishing in the same fishing tank with so many people from my MLM and from similar MLMs. And that made no sense because there were too many sharks looking for the same size fish in the same stupid pool. That's just how I feel. So I decided to think out of the box and step out. So that is just a natural intimidation. And then you have the intimidation of uplines being intimidated by downline, which I think is the dumbest thing that I've ever heard. And it's based on a conversation I had recently. If you're intimidated by your downline, then you're blocking your own success, whether they outrank you or not. I mean, as far as I know, most companies, the compensation plan is such that you benefit anyway. And if it's the other way around, if you're intimidated by your upline, and it's something that, again, like I said, is pretty common, again, from another conversation that I had recently, I don't understand why, I don't care what they post and how you view them, they're human. It is what it is. And if you're intimidated by your upline, or you're afraid for them to see you doing this or doing that because you're afraid, I mean, come on. Let's grow out of this. At the end of the day, I am a firm believer in hard work and sowing seeds. And I mean, if you sow your seeds and you work, then with time you'll reap, period. I don't care who tries to do what or be like you or all these things that I've heard. At the end of the day, if it's for you, it's for you. I'm a firm believer in that. The law of attraction. What you put out is what you get in. All right. So let's go to rejection. I think rejection is like the second biggest fear. And I mean like crippling fear. I think it's probably even worse than speaking, but it kind of integrates because we're afraid to speak because we're afraid to sound stupid, one, and rejection and all that good stuff. But here's what's real. There is no job on earth where you don't get rejected. Did she really just say that? No job. You work at McDonald's drive-thru and you're like, hey, would you like to supersize your fries? Someone's like, did I ask you to supersize the fries? And you're like, dang, life is just being nice. Rejection. You go to the doctor, hey doc, I got the results. Are you sure? Yes, well ma'am, you have da da da. I'm sorry, but are you sure? Do you really know what you're doing? Da 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 da. Rejection. See how I got that in there? Pretty cool, huh?